So since you clicked on this video, you probably know that next month the new Pokemon games come out, and oh boy, I'm so excited. But before that, I, like everyone, have set unrealistic expectations for myself, so instead of keeping them to myself, I decided the best thing to do was to share them with you guys who definitely care. So I've compiled some notes on my phone here of things I think would be pretty neat. I've ordered them from stuff that's like realistic that could happen, stuff that probably isn't gonna happen, but hey, there's a chance, and fuck you. Essentially, what that last one means is I know it's not gonna happen, but a boy can dream, okay? Alright, so the first one up here is I want the grass starter to stay on all fours. And I am very well aware that this is a popular one, but for obvious reasons. Last time we had a cat starter, I was so excited, and then it got to its final form, and it was a man. Listen, Incineroar is not a terrible design, but I just want a cat that stays a cat and doesn't turn into a man. I also just want the game to like look better than it has in trailers. Mostly like a frame rate thing because, you know, it's kind of choppy. I mean, we saw some improvements from the trailers with Legends Arceus, so I'm assuming it's going to be the same. But like, it's worth a mention, you know. Maybe that game footage really can not final. Really hoping for some texture changes because, man, some of those buildings are like a little bit hard on the eye. But that's less realistic. But you know, I just want Pokemon following you that doesn't look like shit. The trailers have shown something that's very promising looking so far, which is cool. But if we're going on their past track record, it's been spotty. Sword and Shield in the DLCs, the following Pokemon barely worked. They lagged behind you, and sometimes would just disappear and like teleport to you. Hi, yeah, Editor Smudge here. I was gonna pick up like a clip or something of them doing this, but I can't find one. And I'm too lazy to record my own. And the only one that I could find is like this dude who like modded the game to have like bare feet on the trainer, and that's weird. I'm done. I don't want to do that anymore. What the fuck? Because you were just considerably faster than them. Everything looked bad in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, so can't really use them as benchmarks. They managed to make it work well in Let's Go, so it's definitely not impossible. But yeah, you know, I just want to travel with my buddies and have them not be dumb looking. I also hope that terastallizing just isn't lame, because it looks kind of lame. It looks like it's gonna be powerful, like really powerful. I was talking to my friend who plays competitive. Thank you, Everett. And he was going on like a really long tangent about how it could be overpowered. Megas were really cool, like visually, and just the concept was like neat. Z moves kind of silly, but it's like not too silly, you know, like silly enough, like perfectly on the line of silliness. And then Dynamaxing is big mode, which is also on that line, fairly close to that line of silliness. This one, I'm afraid, is gonna go over it because you're wearing these big, goofy, silly hats, and it's like, I think it'll be cool. I'm hoping it's cool. We'll see if it's cool. Alright, let's move on. Let's move on to the less realistic ones now. Stuff that could happen, but, you know, probably won't. I want a good online, and I don't mean like the battling, because that is like fine. Like, you know, it's kind of hard to fuck up turn-based battling online. Maybe long load times, but, you know, it's Nintendo Switch Online, what do you expect? But I mean, like, they had that whole thing about the 4-player constant multiplayer thing, and that worries me, because in concept it's really cool, and if pulled off well, could be really cool, but the wild area was laggy as shit. It just seems too good to be true, you know? I don't see a universe where they pull this off, but if they do, color me pleasantly surprised. But hey, who knows? Maybe this will be the next Genshin Impact. Alright, now let's talk about returning Pokemon. And I know this is a sore subject for a lot of people. Especially if you took part in that Dexit thing. I'm not gonna explain that one to you if you don't understand. You're one of the lucky ones. I know they're not gonna bring everyone back because that would have been a huge advertising point already. But what I do hope is that they just have at least as many of them as they had in Sword and Shield, if not more. And like an even spread of generations. I don't want any favoritism, no matter if it's Gen 3, Gen 2, Gen 1, just no favoritism, and I just want Cyndaquil because he's awesome and cool, and he was in the last games, so I feel like, you know, my shot's pretty good there. I want a cool story, you know? Not necessarily a good one, because that's asking too much from a Pokemon game. We've had maybe one good story, and that was like 10 years ago, so I'm not exactly optimistic for that. But like a one that would make like a little 12-year-old me go like, that's so cool! Yes! Yes! So cool! You know? Because Sword and Shield story sucked. Not even completely detaching it from its visuals, which we'll get there. It was just dumb and stupid, and I am definitely not just saying that because I watched like an hour-long video explaining why it's shit, but you know, it is. And like, visually, I want cutscenes that aren't models rotating themselves and playing a static walk animation. And like, we got a couple cool-ish looking ones in like the DLC for Sword and Shield. Just like if they made the entire game like that. Yeah, and also less hand-holding in the story would be good, you know? The recent Pokemon games have been like pretty bad at that. I mean, all of them kind of are hand-holdy, so obviously I expect a certain level of it, and especially since this is like, you know, open world, and that's new and exciting. There's gonna be more hand-holding than I'd like, but you know, just less than Sun and Moon. Now let's move over to the last section, in which I'm gonna start throwing really insane ideas at you, and you're going to sit there and listen, because this is probably the part of the video you've been waiting for. Kalos. French people. I hate them. I've never played X and Y. You know, as a Pokemon fan, that's the only game I haven't played, is X and Y. And it's because I didn't have it. It was, it came out during a time where I wasn't playing Pokemon, because I was in that weird part in my life where I'm like, I'm too cool for that. I'm going to play Roblox instead, because that's so much cooler. I just never got around to it. I played Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, so I've played Gen 6 before. I've never touched Kalos, and I won't, unless they put it as an area in this game. They did it in Johto with Kanto. You know, geographically, it's pretty close. I've seen so many fake maps of how close Kalos is to Paldea, and it's definitely possible. Most likely as a DLC would be my assumption, because they would never put that much content into a new Pokemon game. That'd be insane. You know, that'd be insane. As like a little bonus area, it doesn't have to be much. Like, you know, it's an open world game. They'll figure something out, I'm sure. And now my last and honestly least likely hope for these games is that Twitter isn't hell when they release. Because, oh my god, is it gonna be? People are already arguing and the game is a month out. I can only imagine how terrible it's gonna be. Day of release, week of release, month of release. Because if it's not perfect, if any of the points I just brought up, of like if none of them are touched on, we're done. We're done, dude. We're done. Anyway, thank you for sitting through my thoughts here. I don't know if this will be any good, because very impromptu, but hey, we're trying stuff out. And anyway, alright, fucking this is fucking stupid. I'm getting leaving.